starting the program. Welcome. To tell you very briefly what this program is, this is an opportunity that we have created for ourselves. I told you already there are about 70 LCIPs in Isame area now. So we invited everybody. Some of them have taken the opportunity and they are making presentations. We are making presentations. This is an opportunity that we have created for ourselves. So we wanted our services to be utilized, our services to be productively, properly utilized by everybody. Similarly, there are quite a lot of FDIs in the Isame area. There are more than 600, 700 FDIs. So all these FDIs also are always on the lookout for opportunities to upskill themselves. And in case we create a platform like this, I thought maybe the FDIs also will benefit. More than that, there are quite a lot of untrained, trained graduates who are not FDIs, LCIPs, but they are interested in upskilling themselves constantly. So we thought that this kind of episodes, programs will benefit them also. And so we launched this program. So far, we have finished 20 episodes already, as I told you. The 21st one is on today. We started with Line Sunil Kumar, past International Director and Constitutional Area Leader GATT, as the first speaker. And Line AP Singh, our International Vice President, was the chief guest that day. So starting from there, we have had 20 LCIPs as our presenters, which is a big achievement for us, and also 20 international directors, international past directors, and one international vice president. I think there's a very, very, very big achievement that we have made by involving so many people in this program. So I told you already that we start these programs by reading out the code of ethics. Typically, Alliance programs in India start with the flag invocation. I said this earlier also. We thought, why should not we experiment by popularizing our code of ethics, which is 107 years old now. The code that was written 107 years ago is still popular and still guides us. And the code of ethics has been one set of principles, guiding principles that we are all guided by. And inspired by what we have done here, a few other districts also have taken cue from here, and they're also starting their meetings with Code of Ethics now. I invite Lion Vasudha Rani, Lion PK Vinod Kumar, Lion Yuva Kumar, and Vice District Governor Lion Sai nagaRAJU to please read out the Code of Ethics for us.
To show my faith in the worthiness of my vocation by industrious application to the end, that I may merit a reputation for quality of service.
To seek success and to demand all fair remuneration or profit as my just due, but to accept no profit or success at the price of my own self-respect, lost because of unfair advantage taken or because of questionable acts on my part.
To remember that in building up my business, it is not necessary to tear down another's, to be loyal to my clients or customers and true to myself.
Whenever a doubt arises as to the right or ethics of my position or action towards others, to resolve such doubt against myself.
To hold friendship as an end and not a means. To hold that true friendship exists, not on account of service performed by one to another, but that true friendship demands nothing but accepts service in the spirit in which it is given.
Always to bear in my mind my obligations as a citizen to my nation, my state, and my community, and to give them my unswearing loyalty in word, act, and deed, to give them freely of my time, labor, and means.
To aid others by giving my sympathy to those in distress, my aid to the weak, and my success to the needy.
To be careful with my criticism and liberal with my praise, to build upon and not destroy.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much for your support. I must especially thank Lion Sai nagaRAJU for taking the initiative and volunteering to do this, and also involving his club district colleagues in this effort. So excellent. We will go ahead with the program now. I think we have our chief guest already there. Lion Baburao, I don't think he needs to be introduced at all. Lion Baburao is a current international director. We had Mahesh Pascalji last time, and Baburaoji, a ruling international director, is our chief guest today. Without telling too much about him, I just would like to tell you that he is my friend, my philosopher, my guide, my guru, my mentor, my model, and my champion, my celebrity, everything for me. I think, to put it very briefly, it's very difficult. Actually, he is everything to me. He is such a well-wisher of mine. And most importantly, he is my advisor too in lots of different things, including personal, not only lionism. I mean, people say that he did not go to college and he was not educated, but compassion is his education and humility is his ornament. And if I can summarize everything that I would like to tell you about Lion Babu Rao, I see a brevity in his speech. I think he never exceeded even by a few seconds the time that was given to him. Punctuality, he never came even by a few seconds late to any meeting in the last 15 years that have followed him. Abundance in generosity. I think several crores of, it's difficult to quantify that. Several crores of rupees he has donated to others. He has also given incentives to others. Adjustment is his attitude. I think wherever he goes, he preaches one value: adjustment. We must be willing to get along with people, adjust with people, and I think flexibility, adjustability. These are some qualities that he always advocates. Shrewdness is a strategy. These are some qualities that I admire in him. Only one thing that I'd like to add is that he is an ambassador of goodwill, which is a very, very, very rare distinction, because typically ambassador of goodwill, the highest award of Lions Clubs International, is bestowed on those who have already been international directors. So it goes to past international directors. But Lion Babu Rao is one of those people who was given the Ambassador of Goodwill Award much before he became the international director. So there are so many other things that I'd like to tell you, but I think to save time and to give you more time, I request Lion Babu Rao, our chief guest, to address us and also declare this program as inaugurated.
SkillUP 21వ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని ప్రారంభిస్తున్నాను. ప్రారంభించడానికి చాలా సంతోషమైన విషయము. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఈ రోజు SkillUP ప్రోగ్రామ్ 20వ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అయిపోయి 21వ ప్రోగ్రామ్ నన్ను ఇన్వైట్ చేసినందుకు లైన్ నాగరాజు గారికి, ఇక్కడికి వచ్చిన ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి నా హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు.
I'm being honored to be here on this SkillUP 21 program. I thank nagaRAJU for inviting me on this program.
ఈ రోజు LCF 21వ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ట్రాఫిక్ పై మరి ప్రజెంటేషన్ ఇస్తున్నారు. ఏదో 20 ఎపిసోడ్ లో కూడా ప్రతి ఎపిసోడ్ లో LCPI ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ తీసుకోవటం, ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కి ఫస్ట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కి ఫాస్ట్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ లైన్ AP సింగ్ గారు రావటం, లైన్ సునీల్ కుమార్ గారు ఫాస్ట్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ డైరెక్టర్ మొట్టమొదటి ప్రోగ్రామ్ స్టార్ట్ చేయటం, ఈ 20 ప్రోగ్రాంలు కూడా చక్కగా అద్భుతంగా మరి మనలో ఉన్న నైపుణ్యత మరి లీడర్షిప్ క్వాలిటీస్ ని కూడా పెంపొందడం చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అయిన విషయము.
I appreciate this effort of 20 SkillUP programs has been done as of now, and where the first program was done by Sunil Kumar PID and our third international vice president was the chief guest. So I appreciate this initiative.
దీని రూపకర్త లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు. కరోనా టైంలో కూడా లైన్ మా 320Dకి రీటచ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అని ఒకటి తీసుకుని, ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో దాదాపు ఒక 50 మంది డైరెక్టర్లు రావటం, 50 ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేయటం, మా డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ లో మరి నైపుణ్యత అనే వాళ్ళందరినీ కూడా బయట పెడతాం చాలా హర్షించదగ్గ విషయం.
I always admire nagaRAJU for his tremendous work. He has come up with something called retouch program during the Corona period, where 50 directors were invited for all those programs, online programs, and this is one of them again. So I appreciate him for that.
ఇది భారతదేశంలోనే కాకుండా ఇసామి, పాకిస్తాన్, నేపాల్, శ్రీలంకలో కూడా అనేక మంది ఈ నైపుణ్యత గల వారు రావటం, ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ చూడడం చాలా హర్షించదగ్గ విషయం.
I appreciate because many people, many lions from all over Isami are participating. So I appreciate this program very much.
మరి ఈ రోజు మరి మీ అందరితో కలిసి ఉండటం సంతోషంగా భావిస్తూ, మరి నేను ఈ రోజు ఒక ఇంటర్నేషనల్ డైరెక్టర్ గా ఈ స్థాయికి రావడానికి ABCD అని మొత్తం కూడా నాకు విద్యాబుద్ధులు నేర్పించిన లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు మరి ఈ రోజు ఇక్కడ మీ ముందు కూర్చుని మాట్లాడుతానంటే దానికి లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు ముఖ్య కారణం.
I'm happy to be part of this program, to see you all and meet you all over here online. And I must mention about nagaRAJU. He is the foundation for my success. He was the one who taught me ABCD in Lionism.
లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు మరి ఆయన ఒక లెక్చరర్. ఇప్పుడు ఆయనకు ఒక పెన్షన్తో ఆయన జీవిస్తున్నాడు. 30వ తారీఖు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఆ మంత్ డబ్బులన్నీ 30వ తారీఖు లోపలే ఖర్చు పెడతాం ఆయనకి అలవాటు. ఎలాంటి ఖర్చులు అంటే ఈయన ఇప్పుడు వరకు 10 MJFలు ఇచ్చారు. మరి ప్రతి బీద విద్యార్థికి ఆయనకు ఉన్న దాంట్లో ఆర్థిక సహాయం చేస్తూ మిగతా వాళ్ళని ప్రోత్సహించు చేయడం నాగరాజు గారు ఒక గొప్పతనం.
Being a pensioner, he always look forward to make it zero end of the month in his account. He always spent every rupee that he gets as a pension, either for the social service or for the MJF donations.
ఈ రోజు మరి మనకి మన ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ 1.5 మరి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని మరి రూపకర్త చేసి మనకి చెప్పటం, ఈ 1.5 ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో మన అందరం కూడా కృషి చేయటం, మరి క్వాలిటీ మెంబర్స్ ని చేసుకుని ఈ మన పీరియడ్ లో ఈ 1.5 సక్సెస్ చేయాలని చెప్పి అందరికీ నేను పిలుపునిస్తున్నాను.
International has given a call to us for Mission 1.5. I request everyone to bring the quality members into our Lionism and make the Mission 1.5 achievable very easily.
జీవితంలో మరి నేను నేర్చుకున్న 2-3 విషయాలు మీ ముందు ఉంచుతున్నాను. ముఖ్యంగా టైం పంచాలిటీ. ఇప్పుడు 9 o'clock అంటే మనం 9 o'clock ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ స్టార్ట్ చేసాం. మరి మన లైనిజంలో టైం పంచాలిటీ అనేది మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. దాన్ని ఇంకా కృషి చేయాలి మనం. నేను ఇప్పుడు వరకు గత 15 సంవత్సరాల్లో నేను అనుకుంటూ 2000 నుంచి 2200 వరకు మీటింగ్లకు అటెండ్ అయ్యాను. ఏ మీటింగ్ లో కూడా నేను ఒక్క నిమిషం కూడా లేట్ రాలేదు. మరి అలా అందరూ కూడా టైం పంచాలిటీ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలని విన్నపము.
Being a lion, I have attended more than 2000 plus programs in my tenure. I never been late to any of the programs in my life. So I request even the lions to adapt that and be on time. And as this program was started, sharp 9 as planned.
మనం లయన్స్ క్లబ్ లో నాయకత్వం, మరి సీనియర్స్ జూనియర్స్ కలిసి ఒక క్లబ్ లో ఉంటాం. ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేసామంటే మరి జూనియర్ సీనియర్ అనే భేదాలు ఉంటాయి. కాబట్టి నా జీవితంలో అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్, ఒక వ్యక్తితో ఏదైనా ఒక మిస్అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఉంటే మనం మధ్యవర్తులు లేకుండా ఆ వ్యక్తి దగ్గరే కూర్చుని మరి ఆ వ్యక్తి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి నీకు నాకు ఈ మిస్అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది, నా తరపు నుంచి ఏమైనా ఉంటే చెప్పండి, అట్లాగే మీలో ఏదైనా ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంటే చెప్పండి అని ఆ అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్ చేస్తూ దాన్ని ఆచరించడం. అట్లాగే నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ లోను రిలేటివ్స్ లోను ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని తీసుకెళ్తాం వల్ల నాకు ఎంతో ఆనందంగా ఉంది. అది చాలా సక్సెస్ అయింది కూడా.
Being in a Lions Club, like we always have seniors and juniors, and there might be some discrepancies and some disturbances between the seniors and juniors. But in my life, I always follow a rule of adjustment. So whenever there is a dispute arises, I'll just go to that person and sit with him and clear that. And I am practicing that, and I'm successfully doing that. So I request everyone to follow that and maintain the adjustment in the life.
దీని రూపకర్త లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు. మరి ఆయన జనరల్ గా దీనికి నాకు తెలిసి 1.5 to 2 lakhs ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఖర్చు పెట్టారు. ఆయన ఇండివిజువల్ గా ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఖర్చు పెడితే నేను ఎప్పుడో ఒక రోజు సార్ ఏమన్నా మేము కూడా కాంట్రిబ్యూషన్ అంటే నో అని చెప్పి లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు నాకు కూడా ఒక సమ్ డిస్కషన్స్ లో హాట్ డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతాయి. ఆయన డిస్కషన్ అది, నా డిస్కషన్ అది. ఎవరైనా పక్కన చూసేవాళ్ళు వీళ్ళిద్దరూ మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడుకుంటారు అనుకునేవాళ్ళు. ఆ 10 నిమిషాలు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఎల్లప్పుడూ కూడా మేమిద్దరం అదే ఫ్రెండ్స్. మా నాన్నగారి తర్వాత అంటే అత్యున్నత గౌరవం ఇచ్చే లైన్ నాగరాజు గారు.
We always, whenever me and nagaRAJU have a discussion, our discussion goes to the peak. But people think like we might be fighting and we may never talk each other, but that's never happened. We always have that respect towards us, and I respect 2 persons in my life. That is one my father, and the next is nagaRAJU.
మనందరం కూడా టైం పంచాలిటీ అడ్జస్ట్మెంట్ అనే వరడతో మన అందరము ముందుకు సాగి మిషన్ 1.5 సక్సెస్ చేస్తూ ఎప్పుడు కూడా లైనిజంలో మనందరము విభిన్న రకాలమైన మనుషులం వచ్చి మనందరం కూడా సేవా స్నేహం అనే భావంతో ఉంటాము. అదే పద్ధతిలో చేయాలని చెప్పి నేను కోరుకుంటున్నాను.
I request we all should maintain the time punctuality and also let us work towards Mission 1.5 with the adjustments with all the seniors and all. So I request you all to follow this.
లయన్స్ క్లబ్స్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఫౌండేషన్ యొక్క ఔన్నత్యాన్ని మరి ఎక్కడ ప్రకృతి వైఫల్యాలు వచ్చినా నేను ముందుండాలని గవర్నమెంట్స్ కంటే ముందు పిలుపునిచ్చే మన లయన్స్ క్లబ్స్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఫౌండేషన్ బలోపేతం చేసి ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళు మన స్నేహితుల్లో కానీ మన లైన్ మెంబర్లే కాకుండా స్నేహితుల్లోనూ చుట్టాల్లోనూ మా లయన్స్ క్లబ్స్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఫౌండేషన్ ఇంత అద్భుతమైన ఫౌండేషన్, మరి ఈ ఫౌండేషన్ యొక్క విధానాలు అని చెప్పి మరి లయన్స్ క్లబ్స్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ ఫౌండేషన్ కి మరి స్ట్రెంగ్తన్ చేయవలసిందిగా మీ అందరినీ కోరుతున్నాను.
The only organization in the world which comes before the government comes and rescues the needy, that is Lions Clubs International Foundation. So I request you all to support the Lions Clubs International Foundation and make it strong.
Thank you very much, Lion nagaRAJU garu, నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినందుకు. Thank you very much.
Thank you, nagaRAJU, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Baburao garu, for all those wonderful words that you said. I know it's not only just management of your time, but the way you plan your speech, the way you speak, and you always inspire us, everything that you say. Thank you, Praveen, for that wonderful translation instant. I think that's really wonderful. I think Lion Baburao has made a mention of his values, including punctuality, adjustment, etc. One small changes. He said that I've spent more than 1.5 lakhs. It's about 85,000 that I've spent for this Zoom license because I've taken an annual license and also added 1,000-member large group license later, but which I reduced to 500 members later. So totally it's about 85 to 90,000 rupees. Anyway, that's not an important thing. So thank you very much for all those wonderful things that you said, Baburao garu. Yes, like you said, we will follow your suggestions and we will try to meet the targets that the international has given us, especially that mission 1.5, the LCIF targets and the other important targets that we set for ourselves. Thank you very much once again. Okay, shall we go on to the presentation now? Typically, whenever these presentations happen, I used to introduce the guest speaker also, but today I am the presenter. I just would like to tell you one or two things about me. I am a retired college principal and I am a teacher trainer now. I'm an LCIB graduate that you are already aware. And what else? That's all. I think Lion Baburao has already said that I donated 10 times to the Melvin Jones Fellowship. So these are a few things that I would like to tell you about myself. Then let's quickly go on. So this was the topic that we are on today. SWOC. Very good. Yeah. So SWOC for facilitators is the topic today. Though I am using the word facilitators, I am using it synonymously with teachers, trainers, coaches, whatever. So there are different words to mean almost the same thing, but I am not very specific about the meaning of the facilitators. So put it very simply, trainers, teachers, whoever. So those who are making presentations, those who are teaching, training, etc. into that. How does SWOC help us? Right? SWOC analysis. So to make it very simple for all of us, I am dividing my presentation into 3 parts. First, we'll talk about what is this SWOC analysis. Then very briefly, we'll talk about why this analysis, how does it help us? And finally, we'll talk about how do we do this SWOC analysis? What's the procedure? Are there any tips and tricks that we can use to make our analysis? So this is what it is, and we are moving on. We will begin with a poll. I request all of you to please give me the answer. This perhaps all of you know already, but still I would like to know if you are familiar with the term SWOC, the letters SWOC, what do they stand for, right? So please see on the screen the questions. Yeah, there are 5 different answers. The interpretation of the letters S, W, O, and C. What do the letters stand for? Please take a look at the screen and give your vote. 56 people have already voted. I'll wait for another 30 seconds. Yeah. I think all of you can see the correct answer there. So the correct answer is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. And again, for today's presentation purpose, I am using SWOC and SWOT synonymously. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Instead of using the word threats, I am using the word challenges today. That's why I'm calling it SWOC. I'm stopping sharing this. Let me just show you my next screen, which tells you what these 4 words are. So S stands for strengths, right? And W stands for weaknesses. O stands for opportunities. C stands for challenges. If it were SWOT, T would have meant threats. So threats, I think, is a very highly negative kind of a word, and challenges, perhaps, I thought would be a better word to associate with this combination. And that's why, of course, SWOC also is a there are different names given. Some people call it COWS analysis, COWS, the order is different. Some people call it WOCs. And so, I mean, there are different ways of looking at it, whatever. So the 4 letters stand for this. Now, let's go on with what each one of these letters means. The first letter is S. S stands for strengths. What is a strength? A strength, to put it very, very easily and simply, a strength is an internal resource, something that I already have, something that's with me. It's a resource or a capability or a talent or a skill or some possession that I already have. The second condition is that it is something that is going to help me achieve my goal. Just 2 conditions I am repeating. So something which is a skill or a resource that I already have, right? And the second condition is that it helps me achieve my goals. If you've understood the meaning of this, I would like to just introduce one more poll for you. Please answer. The question I'm repeating is an English speaking ability, is an ability to speak good, effective English a strength? I'll keep it open for another 30 seconds. I think some 84 people have voted so far. There are 175 people participating in this program. Good. When it touches 100, I'll stop. 95, 96. Wow, great. 100 people have participated now. I'm stopping the poll now. Okay, right. So let me share the results with you. I think you can see the correct answer there. The correct answer is depends on several factors. Let me close this poll and then discuss with you. Why is it not a strength? See, when I explained what a strength is to you, I gave you 2 conditions. What are the 2 conditions? 1, I said it's an internal resource, and 2, it helps me achieve my goals. Now, in that context, good English speaking is a skill. No doubt about that. It's a skill. It's a language skill. So if my language skills are good, it's certainly useful to me. But it does not become a strength. All skills are not strengths. Simple. Underline this sentence. All skills are not strengths. Skills become strengths only when we utilize them to achieve our goals. So when does English speaking skill become a strength? It becomes a strength if you are an English teacher, if you work in an English environment, if you have friends who speak English, if you are using English to give a training program, if you are doing a facilitation program for Lions in an English environment, and if your objective is to speak English, then it becomes a strength. So having a skill is one thing, and turning it into converting that into a strength is a different thing. To put that slightly differently, suppose I speak Russian in Hyderabad. So is that a strength to me in a Lions context? Where do I use my Russian language? Where do I speak Russian? There is hardly any opportunity for me because I am working in an environment where there are 3 languages that are popular, English, Hindi, Telugu, and my Russian is a great skill that I possess, but it is still not a strength. If you understand this distinction, I think it will be very easy for you to follow the rest of my presentation. So what is the sentence that I asked you to underline? All skills, all resources, all talents, all possessions need not be strengths. They become strengths only, underline only if they are helpful to us to achieve a goal. So going back to the previous slide, the definition is it's an internal resource or an internal capability. It helps us achieve a desired goal. On that count, good English speaking is a skill. It may not be a strength. It may be a strength, depends on in your context, in your circumstances. On the same count, I don't need to explain the other three factors very detailed, because the first one is clear to us. A weakness is the opposite of a strength. A weakness is something inside us, right? Nobody else is responsible. I am responsible for that. It's an internal barrier. It stands like a wall, and it does not allow me to achieve my goal. For instance, if I have stage fear, for example, so my stage fear is inside me and it's not allowing me to achieve the goal. What is my goal? I'm a facilitator. I'm a trainer. As a trainer, I have great impediment. Something is stopping me from achieving what I want to achieve. I want to become a better trainer, but my stage fear is stopping me. I think that's clear. You can please feel free to ask me questions in case you have any. Right. Then what is an opportunity? Opportunity is outside you. And to make it very simple again for you to understand, an opportunity is something that you have not created. The world has created for you, right? The outside world has created something, a situation for you, which in case you utilize effectively, it comes to your advantage and it becomes an opportunity. Everything that's happening outside, if you can convert that, if you can leverage that, if you can utilize that productively, it becomes an opportunity. Clear? So it is not something inside you, like your English speaking ability, your diffidence, your stage fear, which you have created for yourselves. So not like that. So these are outside things. To put it again very simply to understand, suppose there is an English coaching institute in my neighborhood. I live in Vidyanagar in Hyderabad. Suppose half a kilometer away, there is an English coaching institute and I want to learn English. My English is not good and I want to learn English. So because there is an institute, I have an opportunity. But when does it become an opportunity? Only if I go there and utilize the opportunity that's available, if I leverage it. So if I go there, join a course and try to improve my English speaking skills, then it becomes an opportunity. Otherwise, the institute is there, but it's not my opportunity. Just the presence of an institute is not an opportunity. When I leverage it to achieve my goals, it becomes an opportunity, right? The fourth one is a challenge. A challenge is the opposite of an opportunity. Again, a challenge is created by the outside world. I have not created that. And because of the presence or absence of something in the outside world, my scope to succeed, my scope to achieve my goals, my scope to do what I want to do is damaged, is restricted, is limited. I'm not able to achieve what I want to achieve because something else is happening. The corona was an excellent example of what came in the way of our achievements, our success. To take the same example that I gave a little earlier, suppose I want to learn English, but there is no English coaching center in my vicinity, right? In a few kilometers diameter around, there is no English coach. I want to learn English. I want to improve my English. There is no institute there. There's nobody to help me. So that is my challenge. So when things are not there or are there, but they are hampering my ability to succeed, they are my challenges. I think you have understood all four. To summarize, strengths and weaknesses are inside. Opportunities and challenges are outside. Strengths are positive. Weaknesses are negative. Opportunities are positive. Challenges are negative. So these are the four things that we are going to look at from the facilitator's perspective today. Let me just have a few questions you can write in the chat box, the letter S or W or O or C, depending on what you think this question is, this situation is. So I'm going to give a situation and read the situation. I'll also read it out for you. Write in the chat box what you think this is. So the first quiz question is, suppose you got an FDI certificate some 4 or 5 years ago, some time ago, and you have not done anything to upskill yourself. You have not done any course on LLC. You have not done anything at all. So what is it to you? Look at it from your perspective. You can write one letter, S or W or O or C. Great, quite a lot of answers. Very, 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 very good. I think almost everybody is correct except one or two. Thank you very much. So if I've done a certification course some time ago, and if I have not done any further upskilling, I mean, despite the presence of online courses available like LLC, who is responsible for that? I am responsible. It's not the work that's responsible. It's I who am responsible for that. So it's something that I could control. If I wanted, I could update myself. I could upskill myself. I could improve myself. So there's a weakness with me. I have not done anything. So if there are any FDIs here, if there are any LCIPs here, if there are any people who want to become trainers, facilitators in your career, and if you're not upskilling yourself constantly, the weakness is with you. You cannot blame anybody. Right. Let's move on to the second question. Again, do the same thing, go to the chat box and write SWORC, depending on what this situation means to you. So there is a neighboring multiple district, which is looking for experienced and certified graduates like you are an FDI or an LCIP or you are a known trainer, and they are conducting a PST workshop and they are looking around for people like you. What is it to you? Wow. Excellent, excellent, excellent. 100% correct answers. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes. So I think there is no single answer which is wrong. So everybody said it's an opportunity because I am a trained graduate. They are looking exactly for the kind of people that I am. I'm an FDI and they are looking for an FDI to do a program for the PhD workshop. I'm an LCIP. They are looking for an LCIP to do a training program. They are going to PhD workshop and they want some resource persons to handle the secretary section or the treasurer section, the president's session. So I'm likely to be invited. This is an opportunity. Whether I'm invited or not, that's a difference. So if I leverage that opportunity, I utilize that opportunity. Till then, it's a situation. Right. So it becomes opportunity if I utilize that. Right. The third question again is you are already a certified FDI. And Lions Clubs International says every FDI must get recertified. Like LCIP happens. No, LCIP is not a permanent certification. Every 2 years, every 3 years, we have to get recertified. FDI is not like FDI is a permanent certificate. But tomorrow, LCI is going to change the constitution, change the rule. And they say FDI also is not a permanent certification. Every 3 years, you have to go through an examination to recertify yourself, to qualify. What is that? O and C, O and C, O and C. So many answers. How can it be a strength? I don't think it's a strength. Right. So I think 99% of the answers are either O or C. And let me stop here and tell you, both answers are correct. If you said O, it's a correct answer. If you said C, also it's a correct answer. So I think this question should give you a very clear idea that SWOC analysis is a personal perception. Right? If something is a strength to me, it need not be a strength to you. If it's something is an opportunity to me, it need not be an opportunity to you. Why two people are looking at it differently? For some people, right, this opportunity to periodically upgrade themselves and recertify themselves is an opportunity because they want to constantly upgrade themselves. If that is my attitude, oh, I want recertification so that I will read new topics, upskill myself. For such people, it's an opportunity. If somebody thinks, oh, why this nuisance again? I'm already certified. People said I'm an FDI. Why should I give an examination again? Why every 2 years I should do this? So if you think like that, it's a challenge. So it depends on our perception. So don't copy others' SWOC analysis. So how a situation, internal or external, affects me is different from how it affects somebody else. Things impact us differently, right? Somebody enjoys rain, somebody enjoys the sun. So how we perceive things, how things impact us depends upon our attitude, our aptitude, our perception, etc. The last question, slightly difficult, a tricky question. Please read it carefully and answer that. So there is a multiple district of which you are not a member, not your multiple district, some other multiple districts. It is going to organize, it's not organizing any training workshops at all. Zero. It's not your multiple district. There is a neighboring multiple district. They are not organizing any workshops. What's it? Think carefully. Don't jump to conclusions. I told you already, it's a tricky question. Okay, I think some of you have said it's an opportunity. Some of you said it's a weakness. I think one said it's a strength. And quite a lot of you said it's a weakness or opportunity. Yeah, let me come back to you. And let me tell you that this is actually a silly question. This does not fall under the scope of SWOC at all. Because, of course, certainly it's not a strength or weakness because it's not inside me. That's very clear. So I told you strengths and weaknesses are inside us. We are responsible. We can control them. We can change ourselves. I can conquer my weaknesses. I can strengthen my strengths because they are mine. Right? So if I have stage fear, for instance, I can overcome that. If my English speaking skills are good, I can utilize that. So strengths and weaknesses are my own. Opportunities, I told you, are opportunities and challenges are thrown at you by the world, outside world. So in case the outside world, in case you consider the multiple district, which is of which you are not a member, is the outside world. I mean, what is happening here in this context is completely irrelevant to you. How does it matter to you? There is nothing happening there. You are not affected by it positively or negatively. Right? So, I mean, it's almost impossible to say how it's going to impact you at all. That's why it's irrelevant. This question cannot have an answer because it does not fall into any one of those four categories. Not all situations fall under the SWOC analysis. Only situations that impact you. To put it very simply, ask yourself, is something happening inside me or outside me that is going to help me or harm me from achieving my goals? If it's not related to that, it does not matter to you. Something is happening somewhere. How does it affect you? There is a fire in Namibia. So it's neither a strength nor a weakness, nor an opportunity, nor whatever. Of course, you can make it an opportunity in case you want. It may become a challenge if you go there. So, I mean, again, it depends on lots of other factors as well. Right, move on. So very briefly, we have discussed what these four things are. Again, let me repeat for the convenience of everybody. Strengths are inside us, they're positive. Weaknesses also are inside us, but they are negative. They can impact, they can harm our scope to achieve success. Opportunities are outside us. We did not create them. The world created them. And opportunities can be very positive if we know how to leverage them. Challenges also are created by the world outside, and they can harm me in case I'm not alert, if I don't have a preemptive plan to handle them. So why do we do this SWOC analysis? My next question, the second part. So I have a slide on that, and then I'll show that to you. And after that, we'll go to the actual analysis itself. So why do we SWOT analysis? Like a pawn on a chessboard, which has an opportunity to become a queen if it reaches the other side of the chessboard, every pawn has the potential to become a queen, provided it's played well. If the player is good, this pawn has the potential to become a queen. But do all pawns become queens? Very rarely they become queens, in fact. Right? Some of them succeed. Some of them forge ahead, barge ahead, and they move ahead, and they become queens when they reach the other side. So similarly here, in case we know how to leverage all these things, we can capitalize on our strengths. If I know my strengths, I can further, suppose I speak good English, I look for opportunities where English is necessary, where English has an opportunity. So naturally, because my English is good, what do? I look for a job where my English speaking skills come handy to me. So if I'm a trainer, so naturally, suppose I have excellent ability to ask questions. So I go to a place where questioning abilities, questioning skills are useful. Similarly, if I know my weaknesses, I can have a strategy to overcome them. Without knowing, if you don't know what your weaknesses are, how will you guide yourself? How will you correct yourself? How will you train yourself? How will you improve yourself? Impossible. So knowing weaknesses is the first step, and having a strategy to overcome them is the next action. Similarly, if you know your opportunities, you can exploit them. There is an opportunity, right? Helen Keller came to us in 1925 and told us, I am your opportunity. I'm knocking at your door. Adopt me. Become Knights of the Blind. So Lions saw an opportunity there and they jumped at it and they adopted it. Today, Lions are synonymous with I care. So we exploit the opportunities in case we would like to leverage them and succeed in life. And similarly, if we can evaluate our challenges, if we can discover our challenges, if we can predict our challenges, we can have a plan of action to survive them. Right? Those who took care, well, naturally, they saved themselves from corona. Right? If they took some preventive measures so that the corona did not affect them. Those who did, those who did not have a plan to survive, they were affected by it. So a good analysis of SWOC helps us being proactive, take good decisions, etc., etc. So this is why we do a SWOC analysis. I would like every facilitator, every trainer, every coach, every teacher to do some kind of a self-evaluation, self-appraisal, so that we'll be proactive to handle all these situations that are happening all across. Right. We have come to the last part of the presentation. Why should we do, how do we go about doing this SWOC analysis? What is the procedure? Are there any tips? Are there any guidelines? Is there any easy way that we can handle? How do we know, for instance, how do I know my strengths? Who tells me my strengths? What do they relate to? So is there a mechanism which can help me? Is there a tool? Is there a questionnaire? Is there a template that I can use to know my strengths? So to find out each one of these SWOC strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and challenges, so we must create our own templates, questionnaires. The more questions we ask ourselves and the more answers we find for ourselves, I think the easier it becomes for us to find out our SWOC. So what are the questions that I ask myself? For instance, if I want to find out my strengths. So what am I good at? What is it that I do extremely well? What am I known for? What is my reputation for something? What do people tell me? What do other people tell me? So what do people appreciate me for? So if I ask myself questions like that, I know my strengths. And what do questions relate to? So questions about your strengths relate to your adaptability, attitude, capabilities. I think all those that you see on the screen and quite a lot of others. I listed only a few. Everything that you see on the screen is relevant to facilitators. These are the skills and resources that facilitators need. For instance, knowledge. Without knowledge, how can we move forward? So knowledge is one essential thing that any facilitator needs. Qualifications. If I'm an LCIP, naturally, I'm likely to get more opportunities than others. It's not one single broad way that takes me wherever I want to go, but qualifications help me. Right? So similarly, my language skills, my facilitation skills, my communication skills, my past contribution, my achievements, my attitude, all these things are the places where my strengths can lie. I need to do a kind of an evaluation of all these 4 factors, right? To all these factors to know my strengths. So I need to ask how many friends do I have? How many of them can help me in a certain matter? Do I have any mentors? How deep is my passion for something? If my passion is very strong for something, I have a strength there. I have good, capable, talented, supportive mentors. I think that's again a wonderful strength that I have because they are with me. They can help me, they can assist me, they can guide me when I need them, right? Time sense. Bablan or Chief Guest Line Babura was talking about time sense. So good facilitators must have a time sense. So if suppose I go somewhere and if they give me 30 minutes, if I finish my presentation within 30 minutes, I not only manage my time and I build a reputation for myself. My reputation is my strength, right? The past contribution that I've made, my creative skills are my strengths. Okay, let's take a few minutes and see what are our trainer's strengths. Think to yourself. Maybe I'll ask one or two of you to raise your hands and then answer me. Look at it from the trainer perspective, not just the strengths, only from the facilitator point of view, alliance or non-alliance facilitator. Suppose you are invited to do a training workshop. So what do you think are your strengths? I think nagaRAJU is there. nagaRAJU, do you
Yes,
mind
sir.
telling us any one of your strengths as a trainer?
My strengths are just my dedication to continuous learning and improvement in the field, especially when it comes to example, checking our Lions website and even learning Lions Learning Center, constantly updating myself and updated recently about Lions portal also, new portal.
Thank
So,
you.
and I've gone for training recently for RCs, jerseys for Lions new portal.
Thank you, Raju. Yes, I know. I think I know you well. And then you have always been continuously updating yourself. You do a lot of research on the website and you keep yourself updated with a lot of information. I think you are one of the first in the district to know things that are happening around. And you are very active on the Facebook and you're very active on other social media also. So that's how you're keeping yourself completely updated. I think being updated, continuously updated in terms of knowledge and skills relating to training is your strength. I'm very happy that you said that. Thank you very much, Raj.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So let's move on to consider what contribute to our weaknesses. So again, of course, if you put the strengths if you look at them from the other side, they are weaknesses. They are almost the same things. So a bad reputation. They invited you the last time to a training workshop and you did not go in time, or you did not do well, or you were completely off the mark. You were given some subject and you talked about some other subject, or you behaved bad. Some bad reputation that you build for yourself can be a weakness for a facilitator. It's internal. You are responsible for that. Remember, strengths and weaknesses, you are responsible. nagaRAJU has done so much of research. He is responsible. It's not because of something else, right? Inflexibility. Some people are so very rigid that they don't want to move away from their flexibility. Is good in lots of things. Inflexibility in terms of your values and all that perhaps is okay, but we need to be, continuously willing to update ourselves, change, being flexible, being, willing to mold ourselves to the evolving situations. Lack of passion certainly is a weakness. We cannot do anything successfully unless we are very, very passionate about that. Right? I think some people have negative habits. They come late, they don't organize themselves, they are, completely disorganized. And even small things like our food habits, our liquor habits sometimes affect our performance, right? So in case I have some negative habits like that, I don't bring my things properly. Sometimes, some trainer comes and then he asks for this thing, he asks for that thing, he says, I forgot that. So in case I have those negative habits, they work against me and they are going to hamper my scope for success. So the definition that I gave you when I talked to you about the weaknesses, a weakness is internal, a weakness hampers my scope for success, right? Outdated skills. People have not updated themselves. The same old skill. So I have, for instance, I know some teachers who prepared a lesson some 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they continue doing the same thing the same way again after 5 years, 10 years. So in Lionism also, you might have seen some trainers who come without preparation or without updating themselves. They are either teaching the same thing the same way, or they are using the same tools that they used. Some people who have not updated with the technology. So outdated skills, short temper. Short temper is, of course, an attitudinal problem. And this attitude, because again, I'm responsible for that, is internal. So the short temper can affect my scope for success. Is Lion Prakasha there? Lion Prakasha, would you like to tell us any one of your weaknesses?
Comes under this brand, outdated skills probably. I'm unable to improve my body language or facial expressions.
Okay.
That's the main weakness I feel. And also some extent the anxiety in the beginning.
Yes. Okay, yeah, these are, things that, because you know them, I think you can have an action plan to improve them. Anxiety, of course, should be there. There is a little amount of anxiety, a little amount of stress, that's good. But if you have excessive anxiety, excessive stress, they can work against you. Similarly, you must improve your skills if you want to continue as a trainer. And that certainly is a weakness. Inability to update ourselves, inability to upskill ourselves is certainly a weakness. Thank you very much for saying that, because not many people know their weaknesses. Not many people would like to share their weaknesses. And when I ask it happens always. When I ask people to talk about their strength, they speak very proudly. When I ask people to speak about their weakness, sir, I don't have any weakness at all. Right. So Prakash Agar, thank you very much for coming forward and telling us about that. Yes. I mean, I'm very happy that you know your weaknesses, because knowing, as I told you already, is the first step. Once I know my weaknesses, my path is easier to traverse. Right. So let's move on to opportunities. Opportunities are positive and outside. I told you opportunities need to be leveraged. So when we look out and if there is an opportunity, if I am alert, if I pick it up, and then if I seize it, if I grab it, the opportunity is mine. Otherwise, the opportunity disappears. Opportunities do not knock too frequently, quite continuously. They just knock at the door and go away. We must be alert. So when it comes, we must be ready. So what do they relate to? Opportunities relate to your current position. What is the position that you are holding in Lionism today? There is no single cabinet position or club level position which cannot create its own opportunities or cannot exploit the opportunities that are available around. Prakash Rao just spoke to us, and Prakash Rao became a district governor some 7 or 8 years ago. When he became district governor, he made me district chairperson for cancer awareness. Cancer was not known. Nothing was done in cancer area those days. So when I became district chairperson for cancer, I looked around, I explored the possibility there. When I started looking around, there was so much of opportunity to do something for the cancer victims, cancer patients. So the opportunity was there, but we did not know it, that's all, right? So if I do not create a feedback loop for myself, that is a loss. If I create a feedback loop, that's my opportunity. So every time I get feedback from the participants, I get feedback from the organizers, I am trying to improve myself. That's an opportunity is available. If I utilize it, if I leverage it, it helps me, right? Unmet needs are there. So there is something that needs to be done. Nobody is doing it. So there is some position, some training opportunity, some material production, some methodological implement that's not available, and people are looking forward to that. And if I have it, that's my opportunity. If I can mean that new technology, whenever new technology is there, if I can utilize that, it is my opportunity. Praveen, do you like to tell us any one of the opportunities that you have?
Yes, sir. I specifically speak about the new technology because being a techie guy, these days, like when I see the new Lion portal, it's a combination of MyLion and MyLCI. Many people have questions like, how to use it and all. I see a great opportunity there where I can work on some good modules which can be utilized and trained many people. So I see a big opportunity there.
Yes, Praveen. I think there's this opportunity perhaps is specially available to those who are good with technology. So if you have a strength already, that strength can lead to the opportunity that you can create for yourself. So because you are strong in technology, I think, and because our portal is being overhauled, and because we are switching over to a new portal, I think there is plenty of, actually, you must have already done it. I think quite a lot of people should have done it already. So suppose you want to leverage that opportunity that's available. What do? So you create a module to train people on the new portal. Isn't it? So many people need it. The new presidents, the new secretaries, the new cabinet officers, everybody needs to handle the new portal successfully. And that needs a little training. Suppose I create a module for that. That's my opportunity. The opportunity is there. If I don't create the module, tomorrow that opportunity is not there. Isn't it? A new tool that's available, a new mentor, right? So wherever there is scope for me to upskill myself, I think that is the area in which I have an opportunity to handle and opportunity to benefit from. Okay, let's move on again. Yeah, sorry. Then what do my challenges relate to? I mean, again, like opportunities, they're the opposite of that, and then the same kind of things. So whatever your competitors are doing is a challenge. If somebody else is doing it, if Praveen is already creating a module, and if Praveen and I are competitors, my opportunity is already lost. So that's a challenge to me because I cannot compete with him. So my competitor is ahead of me. Whenever there is a competitor ahead of me, I have a challenge. It needs a lot of effort on my part to overcome that, exploit that, right? Conflicting needs. I think professional commitments and other things can be conflict. PESIL factors. I don't know if you're familiar with this word PESIL. PESIL stands for political, economic, social, technical, legislative, and ecological factors. So everything that's happening in the outside world, these are the factors. No, political factor. For instance, something happens in the parliament which affects us. Something happens in the environment or economy that affects my scope to succeed. Something that happens in the social world, something that happens in the technical world, everything is constantly affecting me, it's impacting me. So things that are happening in the world outside are affecting my career, my growth, my success as a facilitator, either positively or negatively, depending upon how I react to that and depending upon what is the nature of that situation. Some are intrinsically negative, some are intrinsically positive, but it also depends upon how we utilize. The same kind of situation like we saw in that example can be positive and negative depending upon our attitude. I think I see Amarnath there. Amarnath, do you like to tell us about any one of the challenges that you faced in the recent past?
Yes, sir. As I'm a government employee, it's a big challenge for me to manage the time between my professional commitments and the lionism.
Right. Yeah, even I faced a similar situation earlier before I retired. Yeah, you need to manage your time very well. It's very difficult. It's not easy at all. I think, Devendra, do you like to say something? I'm unmuting you.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, my challenge is when I was ALLI, then people said we need only FDIs. When I completed FDIs, people are saying we have so many LCIPs are there. So then we'll see you later. So, so for that, I think I have to develop my skills, and I should prove I'm as good as LCIP, or I should do LCIP.
Thank you very much for saying that. Of course, that's a fact. I think the world is ever evolving, technology is ever evolving, and everything is changing. We must be in tune with the changing world, not only in lines, even outside. So whatever we are doing in life, whatever be our business, whatever be our profession, whatever be our industry, we must be constantly in tune with the evolving world. That's the only way we can succeed. There's no way we can say, oh, this is enough. I don't want to upskill myself. No, that's not possible. For instance, now with so much of availability of AI, so every line must update oneself on AI also. You cannot say, I don't know AI, I don't know Facebook, I don't know WhatsApp, I cannot use this, I cannot use that. If you want to become a trainer, an ordinary line, perhaps if he says that, it's okay. But a trainer must be familiar with that. Now, suppose a trainer says, I cannot use a PowerPoint. I don't know how to create my own slide. It's okay, but you must have an alternative system. You can at least take the service of somebody who creates slides for you, but you must have your own ideas. You must have presentation skills. Somebody cannot present for you. Somebody can create a slideshow for you. So what are the skills that facilitators need? And you must constantly update themselves. So like Devendraji said, so the need for higher levels of skills is always there, and you must be prepared for that. Don't get disgruntled. Right. Okay. So these are some challenges. So finally, I just would like to, before I close and then give you time for questions and answers, questions and comments, I just would like to tell you that whenever we are going ahead with this process of SWOC analysis, we need to learn to be very, very objective. When I say objective, what I mean is that I should not overrate myself. I should not underrate myself. Some people think very low of themselves. Oh, I cannot do this. This is not my scope. This is not my cup of tea. I don't have this skill. I cannot do it at all. People with that stage fear and all that. No, people with that diffidence. Diffidence is the opposite of confidence. So people who are diffident, they think like that. So similarly, there are some overconfident people. So irrespective of their performance, whether they're going to be really good or bad, but they're too much confident. So both extremes are bad. So you must be very objective when you analyze yourself. So when you, for instance, ask yourself questions like, have I done it before? And what was the response of the people? What was the feedback that I've got? Did people appreciate me, or did people give me good feedback on that? So when I ask questions like that, automatically I arrive at more objective feedback. So feedback, of course, not everybody gives you good feedback. Constructive feedback is very difficult to get unless you know the art of getting that feedback. People usually say excellent in front of you, and behind you they don't say the same thing. So because I don't be carried away by that. So there may be some truth in it sometimes, but there may not be truth also. So we must be very careful in analyzing the feedback that we get. So we must be rigorous with ourselves. We must be constantly alert. We must constantly be looking out for opportunities and challenges. We must have prior plans. We must have preemptive plans. Preemptive means, taking care of something before it has happened. So instead of waiting for something to happen and reacting, so preempting is, avoiding something that can be avoided before it has actually happened. So look at things from different perspectives and be very specific about the analysis that you're going through. Be very realistic and prioritize after you found out your weaknesses, after you found out your challenges, after you found out your opportunities. Prioritize which is the one that you need to handle first, which is the one that you would like to exploit most, which is the one that you would like to strengthen more, which is the one that you'd like to handle immediately. So prioritize so that it becomes a very easy approach for you to handle the situation. So this analysis is extremely useful to us in case we follow it carefully. And then in case you're interested, you can write to me. I'll give you my mobile number and mail address later. But I also would like to tell you that in case you would like to do, I can also give you a set of questions for evaluating yourself on each one of these counts. For instance, if you want to find out your strengths, what are the questions? I have a set of questions. I can help you with that. Please write to me in case you need this. Let me stop sharing this. Yeah, while others are answering that, and then if you have already answered it, now the floor is open. Anybody can raise your virtual hand. If you raise your virtual hand, I'll unmute you and you can have some questions, inputs, comments, or maybe additions to what I've said. It can be anything.
Sir, most of the times we used as a trainer when we go for any training session in the presentation, we'll plan for there is a 45 minutes of slot as given to us, and we prepare for 45 minutes. But in the practical, we'll have the reduced some time, or the organizer will ask them. Then making it is a challenge. How it will be? How we can get out of this? How can we overcome this challenge?
Amar, this is not relating to SWOC, but I understand your question. This is some skill that we need to develop. So we have to have a plan, a second plan, B plan, A, etc. So multiple plans. Suppose I am given 30 minutes and asked to make a presentation at some district RCJC workshop. So I must visualize that my 30 minutes may become 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 35 minutes. Sometimes we're asked to continue also. Food is, it happened to me many times. They say, sir, food is not ready, please continue for some more time. Right?
Yes,
And the tea has not come yet. So
Yes,
some such thing happens. So we need to extend it further. Similarly, sometimes, sir, somebody else has taken 1 hour instead of 30 minutes, he has taken 30 minutes extra. Now you please cut it down. So these kind of things happen. We must have alternative plans. This is a skill that we need to develop.
Okay.
So a skill to make it concise, a skill to expand. This comes with a little experience. I think Saroj, you have a question? Dr. Saroj?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is related to the challenge once again. How to handle unexpected situations or difficult participants during training?
Again, you are talking about a skill. This is a skill that we need to develop. It comes with experience. There are always bound to be some difficult participants. There are always bound to be over smart participants. There are distractors, all kinds of them. So this comes with experience. This is the challenge, of course, in case you're not able to handle that. This has come from outside. And of course, the necessary skills include ability to manage the audience, ability to make your presentation more impressive, ability to meet multiple learner styles. See what happens typically. So if you go to make a presentation, if you meet the needs of only the auditory or visual parts, typically what happens, we only speak and come back, or we only demonstrate and come back. We meet the needs of only one kind of participants. So there may be some people who want, I mean, there are other kinds of participants who are logically intelligent, and I mean, various kinds. So you must have some strategy to attract them. You must have some strategy to keep them awake. You must have some strategy. I don't think I can spend a lot of time on presenting the techniques that we can use to make them, but simply put in one sentence, it is the trainer's responsibility to have the skill, the ability to involve the participants. The easiest is asking a question in the middle, right? And then narrating a joke or anecdote. I mean, that is relevant. That's contextually relevant, right? Being in the present, being attentive, being a good monitor. So, I mean, if you stand in one place, naturally you cannot hold the attention of your participants. You need to move about when it's necessary. These are things, I mean, facilitator skills. In case you develop them, it will become very easy for you to handle the class. I think AP Thomas, do you have a question?
Every place we will name as SWOT analysis. Instead of T, you took challenge. So any particular, the meaning is same, but your presentation is very good, but your way of approach is also very good. C and T, you changed the instead of SWOT and so C. Any particular?
Yeah, Mr. Thomas, I think you joined us late. I explained at the beginning. I said threats and challenges. Today, for the purpose of this presentation, I am using synonymously, though they are not synonymous, they are different. I am using it with a specific purpose in mind. The word threats sounds a little negative. The moment I consider something as a threat, I mean, my inhibitions increase, my readiness to overcome that is impeded to the day. The moment I call it a challenge, it becomes slightly, it's more positive sounding. Oh, it's a challenge, I can meet that. If it's a threat, oh, it's a threat. How can I overcome that? So, I mean, the word itself sounds a little negative to me, and that's why I prefer the word challenge instead of threat. That's why I used it. Sajal, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Good evening. It was wonderful listening to you today. It was completely a different thing for me. And thank you. And I'm thankful to the Lions fraternity for giving me this opportunity to attend such a program. I have a small question, sir. During your presentation, you have mentioned the art of taking the feedback. Sometimes people just say in front of you that it is excellent, but actually they may not mean it. Maybe at the back they are stating something. So you said that there are techniques and ways how you can actually take the actual. Can you, with one small example, I know that time is a limit. Can you please brief a little?
For instance, I mean, the simplest answer that I can give you, suppose I ask you, how is my presentation today? Typically, 99% of you say, sir, excellent, very, very, very good. But instead of asking you that question, if I change my question and say, Sajal, can you please tell me 3 things that you will look for when you want to identify challenges? That means, I mean, whether he is really understood it. They are called conceptual check questions. Concept check questions are different from comprehension questions. So my questions should be such, my feedback questions should be such that I must be able to get the real fact about whether people have really followed it or not, whether they have appreciated it or not. So I'm not just checking again their memory. They are not memory related questions also. How, if I ask you, how has this benefited? For instance, today is my feedback, you look at it. So my feedback also asks questions like that. So how has it benefited you? I did not ask you, how was my presentation?
Okay, sir.
My question was, how did it benefit you? You have to choose one or more of the answers that I gave. So how was it useful to you is different from, has it been good? Have I done a great job? How was the trainer? So these questions just get you appreciation, but concept check questions get you feedback.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, as usual, your presentation is, of course, excellent. Now, but on 1 or 2 things, I beg to differ with your opinion, sir. That is, you said the neighboring opportunity is neighboring MD opportunity is not an opportunity, is irrelevant. No, but I definitely see as a opportunity. You can always go to that MD and you can say, I would like to conduct certain programs here because you are not conducting. Or you need not say that you are not conducting, and you can take it as an opportunity. For the living example is yourself. Nobody is conducting programs in the ISAMI level, so you are conducting programs and people from all over the ISAMI are joining. So this is an opportunity you have created which is there. It is not irrelevant. So similarly, this also cannot be irrelevant, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Agree with you.
That is one thing. And another thing is English speaking is, you said is only strength if you apply it. But I think strengths are whether you apply strengths you should have. You can apply it whenever it is, suppose you are one is a very muscular man. He can use it when it is there. It is always a strength. It is applicable. It will become an applicable strength when he applies it. Otherwise, it is a strength. It is still a strength.
That's what I told you. I gave you another example. For instance, if I speak Russian, for instance, so I told you, unless I live in an environment where I speak or I use or I need Russian, that is just a skill lying with me. So from the concept of SWOC analysis, from the concept of SWOC in the context of SWOC analysis, it does not become a strength. It just becomes a skill. Anyway, Shalini, you have a question?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, how can we effectively utilize SWOC analysis to improve its strategic decision-making process?
Shalini, do you mind repeating the question?
Sir, how can we effectively utilize this SWOC analysis to improve the strategic decision-making process?
I showed you one slide on why SWOC analysis. So if you know your strengths, the advantages, you can have a strategy to capitalize on this. I have this strength. I know this, my skills include this, my strengths include this. These strengths must be put to use, and that's my goal. These are my skills. So how do I reach there? So these skills can be converted into my strengths so that I reach. Right? So similarly, suppose I have this weak, I want to go there, but these are weaknesses that are stopping me. So how do I have, what strategy do I use to overcome them, defeat them, fight them? So to weaken the weaknesses, to strengthen the strengths should be my strategy. Right? So knowing your SWOC helps you in designing a proper strategy to help you become better, succeed in life, achieve bigger things, become a better trainer, become a better facilitator.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Only 9:16. I think we have exceeded by a minute already. So I think we should go ahead with a vote of thanks. I need to do the vote of thanks myself. So thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity that all of you have given me. So though somebody, Devenderji said that this is an opportunity that we have created for ourselves, you are right. So when I thought that something that I could do for everybody would help not only me, but everybody. So I took this initiative. I mean, if I'm repeating what I said earlier, so there are opportunities around and every one of us can exploit them, can explore them, can utilize them, everything. I mean, if I'm not boasting of myself, whenever an opportunity came to me, instead of utilizing the opportunity, I converted that into an opportunity for a large group of people around me. When I created, for instance, a program called STEP, I created a pool of 50 trainers first. So these 50 trainers went around and my job of reaching 1 lakh people, 1 lakh students in 1 year became very easy. So every LCIP, every FDI should do that. And that is creating our opportunities and also giving opportunity for our strengths. So, and also an opportunity to overcome our weaknesses. So this is how we all should work. And thank you very much for participating in this program. I must profusely thank our director Baburao Garu for spending his time this evening with us. And then I know how busy he is. He's lots of things he has to do. And he has been every day, despite his ill health, he has been traveling and then he has been doing lots of things simultaneously. So when I invited him, I thought maybe the first program we had like AP Singh as our chief guest, and the last program also must be we must have a great chief guest, and that's why we invited him. Somebody asked me why this is the last. So because we had planned only 20 programs this year, though we exceeded it by 121 this year, and we'll maybe in a different format or the same format, we'll relaunch this program after July. June and July, May and June typically are very difficult months for us. We have lots of conventions happening, lots of programs, and that's why we thought it might be better if we take a little rest and then restart after July. That's the only reason why we are stopping it here. So let's wait for July.
Sir, I take the opportunity to thank you for giving an opportunity for all the presentators, LCAPs, and all the participants to skill up our knowledge and skills. Thank you so much, sir, for taking in sheet.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So see you again sometime in July or August. I'll come back with you with my next proposal.